What is up everybody, welcome back to the Crew 2, and in this video I'm going to take a look at the M8 Competition Coupe Interception Unit. Funnily enough, I actually never got this vehicle back in the day, so I was pretty happy to see this thing make a return. Now if you guys might have been wondering what is this thing actually going to resemble and or what other M8, because I do believe there's like 17 other M8s in the game, well kind of seems like that anyway. We obviously have the Performance Edition from the Summit that has a very unique body kit on it. But after looking at the Interception unit, I instantly thought about the one that also came out recently. The No Rules Edition is going to have basically the exact same body kit on this vehicle. There's also going to be 3 variants of the M8 in the game, and I do think the body kit on the No Rules Edition looks pretty awesome. So when I did notice that's also going to be on the Interception unit, that is definitely pretty sweet. Now one thing you obviously cannot do, and that's going to be customization. I would honestly guess because this is, a police car, I guess you would call it. I do like that little custom front bumper type of thing in the front. I think that's pretty dope looking, and being on a police car, that would obviously make a lot of sense. You guys will also have the lights in the front there that will flash as well right on the bottom there. Kind of similar to where like a fog light would be as well. Then you obviously have the one on the top. So this car is honestly pretty dope looking. I don't think a lot of players are probably going to use this vehicle though. What's kind of interesting is I do find it to be pretty dang good overall from the testing I have done. This would actually be a pretty awesome car to add to your collection, especially if you guys didn't get this vehicle back in the day like me. If you actually want to buy the M8 guys, it will cost around $530,000, so at least it's not going to be insanely expensive. But let's go do an outside look of this vehicle right now and take this thing on a quick top speed test. And then we will also jump into one of those street races to really test out its overall performance. And now spawning outside with the interception unit, the first thing I actually noticed about this vehicle is going to be the way this thing looks with this livery setup. I really do think this might be one of my favorite body kits on this car, like it looks really good. You guys will also notice the windshield's going to be kind of tinted with like the other windows as well, which does honestly make sense with this being like an interception type of vehicle. One thing I also kind of like about this car as well is going to be the lights on it, so it's just going to be the top as you guys will see with the front as well. I was wondering if there's going to be lights in the back of this car, but there is not. I feel like they probably could have did something on like the spoiler or something like that, but at the same time though, I'm also really happy they didn't like throw lights all over this thing and make it look like it belongs in a parade. And one thing I noticed right off the bat when driving this car, guys, is that amazing sounding V8. And now moving over to the interior view of the car here, I actually don't think there's anything specially done to the interior of the M8 here. I could be losing my mind on that, guys, but then again, this is also going to be like an interception like type of police vehicle, so I guess I'm not too insanely shocked though, because you really can't have like a crazy colored interior in a police type of vehicle, but maybe seeing like some type of equipment like a walkie-talkie and or like a laptop or something would be kind of interesting. That way all the Civics with the laptops might actually get kind of worried seeing like an M8 with a laptop, but hey, I guess we can actually dream just a little bit. But overall though, if you guys are looking to drive an M8, the interior in this vehicle is definitely going to remain the same as the other cars. But now besides all that, let's go see what the top speed of the M8 interception unit's actually going to be. So one thing I have been noticing, guys, I cannot get over with this vehicle is going to be the sound of the M8. My goodness, Ubisoft really killed the sound of that V8 like wow, but let's see what this car is actually going to get to. So similar to the other ones, it's obviously going to be an 8-speed there. So if you guys are running manual, be prepared to shift this thing a lot more than you probably want to, but let's see what it can get to. So a Nitro Chemist. Wow, 250. So 251 to 252 is going to be pretty dang impressive. That's going to be more closer to like some of the faster street cars in the game, but to be honest guys, I really don't think like an extra 8 or 9 miles per hour is really going to make the biggest difference on many of the events. I feel like even with this car being slightly slower than like the Countach and or the Superleggera, I would say the M8 here is probably going to be a pretty dang decent vehicle, and one of the biggest things I noticed about this one is going to be its handling. Now one thing I have been noticing when driving many of these street cars is going to be the fact of many of the top speeds do seem to be kind of similar, but also very different by like 8 to maybe 12 miles per hour, which In reality, guys, on some of the longer events, of course, is going to make a big difference, but I really don't think some of the street cars with a lower top speed are honestly going to be hurt all that much. I really do feel like many of these cars are actually going to be really good. Even compared to like the No Rules edition, I actually really like the handling of the interception unit more, which I'm sure is going to sound kind of odd, you know, considering both of these cars are the exact same vehicle for that matter, and they also have like this same exact body kit on both of them, but for some odd reason, I really like the way the interception unit handles more. Like, I feel like this car feels a bit more sticky to the ground. It also gives you like more confidence in and out of corners as well. I would say the overall speed is probably going to be insanely similar because once again, you know, it's the exact same vehicle, so it's kind of funny how they all handle differently. It does in a way remind me of the Bugatti Divo just a little bit because the other ones that came out in the Summit, even compared to the regular one, I did find them to be pretty similar, but also insanely different in some ways, and I would prefer one vehicle to the other. I do think the same thing's going to happen with the Interception Unit and or the No Rules Edition. Now, the main reason why I'm not bringing in the Performance Edition into this, guys, is due to the fact that car does like 278 miles per hour, so technically it's going to be one of the fastest street cars in the entire game, so I kind of leave that thing out. But if we're being honest though, I would say the handling of the interception unit is still probably going to be a bit better than that car in some ways as well. Like, I do like the way this car handles. I can definitely see why a lot of players wanted to see this car make a return. I was kind of confused on why the interception unit was coming back, but then again though, I think it's going to be fun to test out these vehicles once again and see how they can do versus some of the quote-unquote meta vehicles. I do find it to be pretty interesting how some of these older cars like the interception unit here is actually going to be a really good vehicle for most of the events. Sure, some of the other ones are going to be much better in some ways, but I feel like a lot of players might end up picking this car up for around 530k and maybe testing it out on some of the summits and stuff, which I might plan on doing that, guys, just to see how it can do. It's kind of funny when you click on a leaderboard for one of these street races now and it's basically just the Countach. I do think it makes a lot of players happy when seeing other vehicles are being used. That's actually been one of the main things I have been focusing on when it comes to the summits, and that's not using the meta vehicles when it's no restriction. I try to pick some weird oddball vehicles or just cars you really don't see all that much, just to see if they are like compatible and or you know they can actually compete with some of these better cars. And I feel like a lot of vehicles and or older cars in the Crew 2, like the M8 Interception Unit, might actually be pretty dang good, especially when it comes to summits, so I will definitely be testing these vehicles out. Overall, guys, I do have to admit I'm pretty dang impressed with this car so far. I would definitely recommend taking a look at this vehicle, even if you guys want something new to drive or maybe you're looking to add to your collection. I really do think the M8 Interception Unit's going to be a really great overall car. Not only is the top speed going to be pretty dang competitive, but I feel like that handling and stability is also going to shock many people like it did to me when they do test this thing out. But let me know what you guys think about the Interception Unit in the comments below, and here are the settings I'm currently running on this vehicle.